have part or full-time business income, you can use retirement accounts designed for the self-employed. That's terrific because they allow you to contribute a lot more than other types of accounts like an IRA or even a workplace 401k or 403b. This podcast will review the pros and cons of the two most popular retirement accounts for solopreneurs or small business owners. They are the Solo 401k and a SEP-IRA. Understanding their differences will help you choose the right plan for your situation and goals. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 916 of the Money Girl podcast. I'm your host, Laura Adams. I'm an award-winning author, spokesperson, speaker, founder of The Money Stack. That's my Substack newsletter, and host of this podcast with over 43 million downloads. If you're enjoying the free content that we love creating here, please take a moment to rate and review the show in your podcast app. That always means so much to me and everyone on the team. And if you've got a question about money, you can leave it on our voicemail at 302-364-0308. And you can always visit lauradadams.com to email me directly. And that's where you can learn more about my books, courses, and sign up for The Money Stack. And by the way, when you sign up for the newsletter, you automatically receive my Money Success Toolkit. That is a free gift that includes the exact templates I use to manage my money. I hope you'll check it out. So let's start by reviewing what exactly a solo 401k is. You're probably familiar or have heard of a 401k. It's a popular tax-advantaged retirement plan that can be offered by employers. And when you're self-employed, you may choose a similar account, but it's called a solo 401k. You'll also hear it called a solo K, uni K, one participant 401k, self-employed 401k, and individual 401k. So essentially, it's a plan that covers one employee. However, it can also cover your spouse if you are both the only employees in your business. You contribute a portion of your paycheck or your self-employment income to a solo 401k and select investments like mutual funds and exchange-traded funds. For 2025, you can save up to $23,500 or $31,000 if you're over 50 in your solo account as an employee, just like with a regular 401k that you would get from an employer. However, since you're also the owner of your own business, you get to make an employer contribution to your account as well. And that is up to 25% of your net business income for a maximum of $70,000 for 2025. Now, if you're over 50, you can also make an additional catch-up contribution of $7,500 for a total of $77,500. Plus, starting in 2025, 401ks allow something called a super catch-up contribution, and it's just for those aged 60 to 63. And that allows you to contribute up to $11,250 for a grand total of $81,250. Now, you can set up a traditional solo 401k where you make pre-tax contributions. Traditional accounts are great because they give you an immediate tax benefit with your tax-deductible contributions. They reduce your annual taxable income and therefore your tax liability. You defer paying income tax on the contributions and also the account earnings until you take withdrawals in the future. So when you retire and you begin taking withdrawals out, that's when you're going to pay ordinary income taxes on all amounts, on the contributions and the earnings. But you can also establish a Roth solo 401k, which requires you to make after-tax contributions. While you don't get an upfront tax benefit, you do get a really nice tax perk, which is that future withdrawals of your contributions and the investment earnings are entirely tax-free. So you pay tax on the contributions and all the growth in the account gets to grow tax-deferred, and it is eventually tax-free when you take the contributions and the earnings out. If you contribute to multiple 401ks, such as through one at an employer, maybe you've got a day job, and you've also got a solo 401k because you have your own business and you've got self-employment income that you're earning on the weekends or the evenings. In that case, the employee limits apply per person, not per plan. That means you can't exceed the employee limits no matter how many 401ks you have. And for 2025, I'll review what they are. If you're under 50, it's $23,500. If you're over 50, it's $31,000. But if you're from 60 to 63, it's $34,750. Now, unlike a Roth IRA, which has an income limit to qualify to make contributions, there is no income threshold to participate in a Roth 401k or a Roth solo 401k. Therefore, even high earners can participate in a workplace or a self-employed Roth and reap its terrific tax benefits. All right, so that's an overview of the solo 401k. Let's switch gears and talk about the other common retirement plan for the self-employed, which is a SEP-IRA. That stands for Simplified Employee Pension Individual Retirement Account. Basically, it expands a regular 401k to fit the needs of a business owner who may or may not have employees. A SEP-IRA allows you to contribute to employees' retirement plans, including your own. However, your employees can't contribute their own funds to the account. So the upside of a SEP-IRA is that contributions don't have to be made through payroll deductions, which is the case for a 401k or a solo 401k. It's almost like you can make them as a profit-sharing contribution. And that gives you the flexibility to make them anytime during the year. Or you can opt not to make any contributions if you don't have a good year. With a SEP-IRA, you can contribute up to 25% of your net business income, up to $70,000 for 2025. Unlike a solo 401k, a SEP-IRA does not allow catch-up or super catch-up contributions. A downside of these accounts is that you must treat everyone equally if you have employees in the plan. For example, if you contribute 5% of your salary to your SEP-IRA, you must also contribute 5% of each employee's compensation to their accounts. The Secure 2.0 Act allows for Roth contributions to a SEP-IRA. However, I haven't found an investing platform that offers it, at least yet. So if you want to make catch-up contributions or Roth contributions, the SEP-IRA may not be for you unless you can find a plan, that does allow the Roth contributions. Similar to other traditional retirement accounts, contributions are tax deductible and grow tax deferred until you take withdrawals in retirement. Even if you have a 401k with an employer, you can max out a SEP-IRA if you're self-employed and have high business income, because the 401k and the IRA-based plans don't have to be combined. They're kind of considered totally separate retirement plans. Now, let's talk about the differences between a solo 401k and a SEP-IRA when it comes to making withdrawals. So all tax-advantaged retirement accounts have a penalty for withdrawing funds before the official retirement age of 59 and a half if those funds have not been taxed. So early withdrawals are subject to ordinary income tax plus an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty. But since Roth contributions get made on an after-tax basis, you can withdraw them penalty-free at any time. However, withdrawals of your Roth account earnings would be subject to taxes and a penalty because they have not been taxed yet. However, the Rule of 55 allows penalty-free withdrawals from a regular 401k if you leave your job in or after the year you turn 55. So it's kind of an allowance for early retirement. But whether that rule also applies to a solo 401k is kind of unclear. So if you're self-employed and planning to retire early, before 59 and a half, you want to get clarification from a plan administrator about what's allowed and, kind of plan accordingly. Traditional accounts have required minimum distributions, or RMDs, starting at age 73, and that's going to increase to 75 beginning in the year 2033. But there are no RMDs for Roth accounts. Some regular and solo 401ks offer participants loans and hardship withdrawals, while others don't. So again, that's something you want to look at if you're opening a new account. If your regular or solo 401k allows loans, the rule is you can borrow up to 50% of your account value, your vested account value, up to a lifetime limit of $50,000. So there is a cap on that. And you can use the funds for any purpose, but you do have to repay yourself over a 5-year period at a set interest rate that is specified by the retirement plan. And if you don't repay a regular or a solo 401k loan within that 5-year time frame, it could be considered an early withdrawal, and that means it would be subject to income taxes plus an additional 10% penalty for any outstanding balance. However, if you pay it on time, a 401k loan is tax-free regardless of your age. But note that with any IRA-based account, including a SEP-IRA, loans and hardship withdrawals are never allowed. So while a solo 401k has many advantages, including a Roth option, it's only available for solopreneurs or those with a spouse working in their business only, and contributions must come from payroll deduction, so you have to be paying yourself a salary. A SEP-IRA allows you to hire employees and make contributions that don't have to be deducted from payroll. I have a SEP-IRA, and I really do appreciate that flexibility. And I, appreciate the ability to hire employees. You can open either type of account, the solo 401k or a SEP-IRA, at most online brokerages. And they all give you access to a broad range of investment options. No matter which retirement plan you choose, if you have self-employment income, investing a portion of it for the future is essential. I think it's even more essential if you are a full-time self-employed person, because you don't have an employer kind of, nudging you to increase your retirement contributions or to participate in a plan. It's going to be up to you to fund your retirement. And if your situation changes later on, you decide to hire employees, you can always open and begin contributing to a different retirement account. So, there's no rule that says you can't have multiple retirement accounts when you're self-employed. I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any amount of self-employment income, or maybe you're trying to go full-time with your business, you've got some great options for self-employed retirement plans. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast, and we've got a great team that works on the show. Steve Rickyberg audio engineers the podcast. Brandon Gachus is our director of podcast. Holly Hutchins is our digital operations specialist. Morgan Christensen is our advertising operations specialist. Davina Tomlin is our marketing and publicity associate. And Nathaniel Hoops is our marketing contractor.